guys, it's Lizzie. Today I'm going to be talking about getting to know yourself and loving yourself. I do not feel like I talk about that enough on this channel. I talk so much about interacting with other people and getting to know other people and loving other people and getting to know God, but I rarely have ever just talked about how to get to know yourself. In my philosophy class 2 weeks ago, we were talking about friendship and we read Aristotle on friendship, and one of the things that he wrote was that you need to think of yourself as a friend, and you're not going to be a good friend to other people unless you can be like a really good friend with yourself. And Aristotle thought that it was impossible for you to be a good friend to other people if you can't spend alone time with yourself being a good friend to yourself. So I think that being comfortable with alone time is so important, and I know that most people in the world are extroverts, and so that comes less naturally to them. I'm really lucky because for most of my life I've been very like in between extrovert and introvert, just like very balanced. Now I'm erring more towards the more extroverted side, and so now I actually can relate to you like mega extroverts, because now I have to be very intentional about alone time, because I feel like it would make me happier just being with people all day constantly, but it's not. You have to get away, you have to think about your life, and you have to just get to know yourself. So what you need to do is stop just like always doing something, and I don't even mean like going out and doing things. I mean, even if you're just like always watching TV and you go from like TV to studying to class to friends to dinner to sleep, you need to free up time in your schedule to just like chill and think. Like thinking time, and you need to process your life, and the way that I do that is through music. I listen to a ton of music, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, that's me, like this song totally describes this situation going on, and then this song describes this other emotion I feel towards the same situation. And when I listen to music, which is like all the time, like when I'm walking to class, in between classes, when I'm editing videos, in between importing this footage, I've just been listening to music. And music is something that I use to understand myself. Also journaling. This is my current God journal that I have, and I journaled in it a ton this weekend, and I just write down what I'm thinking. When I say God journal, it's not just like spiritual or just like Christian, it's anything about me. And I put it in here. Like I wrote a rap a month ago, and it's just a rap that like explains how I've been feeling all year. So that was self-expression and getting to know myself. And then last Sunday I wrote down like 18 things that were like lows and like awful things that happened to me this year, and then I wrote on the next 2 pages 25 things that were blessings and awesome things that happened this year. So just like really thinking about and reflecting on your year, your semester, your week, your day, like whatever you're thinking about. A lot of my alone time is God time, which is actually a really good way to get to know yourself, because when I pray out loud, I just tell God exactly how I'm feeling and what happened and like my reaction to it and like how I want him to act in the situation. And that self-expression is how I think I learned to be emotionally open, just like praying to God for so many years, because I trust him a lot, and that's just a place of like vulnerability and like safe place in my life, and then I can translate that into how I communicate with other people about what I'm dealing with. So just being honest with yourself about what actually happened and honest with God about it too. But then also I just have a lot of fun by myself, and I know that sounds so weird, but seriously, so often in this room, this is my bedroom, my dorm room, I just like put on music or even no music and just like dance in front of the mirror and just like jam out, and it's so fun. Just like I love dancing so much, it's so fun. And also I love reading books by myself, and I love playing my guitar and just singing, and I love editing videos and writing and designing my website. Like there's so many things I do like just with me, like so many hobbies that I have and so many fun things that I like doing, and through that you really like get to know who you are. And so while there are like a lot of practical like journaling ways to get to know yourself, the biggest thing is just like being comfortable, like being away from people and using that time intentionally and not just filling it up with stuff, but using it to like pour out yourself and really think through how life is going and how you've been feeling about it. And also just finding ways to express yourself, like different hobbies, talents. Like I've always been super involved in like choir, orchestra, running, ballet, film, writing. So just get a life and get involved, and then like those activities you spend your time doing will like illuminate who you are. And something else that I really want to challenge you guys in is to just find depth in knowing yourself, not just like the surface level of like what you like to do and like what makes you happy and like what things annoy you, but just really like depth to like who are you, like who really are you? Like yes, you're a daughter of God, yes, you're a student, yes, you're a sister to this person, but beneath all of those layers of how society labels people and like labels relationships, like who are you? People have told me their testimonies before because I go to a Christian university, and afterwards it's like, that's me. And the way I think about it is like, no, that's not you. That's what you've been through, but that's not who you are. And with getting to know yourself, it's so much deeper than just like what happened and what events you went through, but it's like how you felt, how that affected how you viewed yourself. Like, it's just, there's so many layers, and so just dig way deeper and just challenge yourself to get way beyond the superficial. And I think then, when you're being friends with yourself, as Aristotle will describe it, if you have like that depth in understanding yourself, when you're just like with yourself and thinking about you, then when you go out and you're friends with other people, you're also going to have depth in those relationships, and you're just going to have more like genuineness and authenticity in your life. Something else that's really helped me understand myself is Myers-Briggs and Gary Chapman's love languages, and I'm obsessed with both so much. Myers-Briggs was amazing. The first time I read my profile, I'm an ESTJ, and I was just like, that's me, that's me, that's me. And it was just so like affirming, knowing that like these different ways, that these like tendencies you have and how you process the world and how you react to things, that like that's normal for you and that that's okay. And also it just really helps you realize like these are the blind spots in how I think about things and people, and like these are my negative tendencies that can really hurt people, and like these are my gifts that I should really develop. And just understanding all that is so cool. And I'm gonna link this YouTube channel below, and this guy makes these really good Myers-Briggs videos like explaining all of the different like introverted sensing and like extroverted feeling and like all those things, and like explains what they are, and then you can like actually type people in your life who you're friends with. And then love languages is another thing that's really important. It's like how you give and receive love, and it just explains so much. Like, my main love languages are quality time and physical touch, and so when I don't get like one-on-one time with a close friend for a while, I just feel really like unwanted by them and like isolated, when really, even if they are like being affirming throughout that, like not getting that one-on-one time is like super bad for me. So I also want to talk about loving yourself, and if you take the same metaphor of thinking of yourself as like a friendship with yourself, I've noticed, and I'm going to give a few examples, things that if I remember at the beginning of sophomore year last year, I was super culture shocked coming back from Thailand, and I was like, I felt awful and I was crying a lot, and I think I was kind of in a little depression then for a couple weeks. And I remember thinking, if I was hearing the same thing from a subscriber, I would tell them like, you deserve to be loved, you deserve to go to counseling, you deserve to be helped, you deserve to tell someone what you're feeling. And then I told the same thing to myself, because I was thinking of how I would give advice to someone else if they were going through it. And so that's why I think you really need to have kind of like this outsider's perspective in giving yourself advice. And I'm gonna give some examples of things I've noticed where I do not love myself the way I would love a friend if they were dealing with the same thing. One thing is the way I forgive myself. If someone else hurts me, I will forgive them like real fast. I'm just really quick to forgive and like not view people based on how they treated me. But then when it comes to me, I will hold on to things for months and just not even forgive myself for something that, for a way that I hurt someone else. Like, I'll just hold on to that for so long when I wouldn't want someone to do that for me. And so I think just like thinking of yourself as a friend, like I'm not being a good friend to myself right now by like still holding on to this and still not forgiving myself and letting it go. I would want my friend to let it go. Another thing, so this semester I've really been struggling with finding the balance between taking care of myself and being selfless and like investing in other people. Satan's really been using that to try to get me to feel guilty about spending time with God, which is awful and illogical, but it kind of happens because it's a huge time commitment, you know, spending time with God every day. So an example of that is my best friend told me that she spent 2 hours with God this morning, and like my reaction when she told me was like, wow, that's so good, I'm so happy, like what did you do? And so if I spend 2 hours with God sometime in the future, I need to have the same reaction that I had towards my friend, towards myself, of being like, that's so good, such a great way to spend time, and not think of it as like that's time I could have spent with someone else. Also, I buy myself gifts like I would for a friend. I buy myself new music, books I want to read. I bought myself this really cool study Bible freshman year that is amazing and has so many resources inside it. I buy myself new makeup. Treat yourself like you would a best friend. Give yourself advice like you would a best friend. Take care of yourself like you would want your best friend to take care of herself. So I know that this might have seemed like a really strange concept of being friends with yourself and just spending time getting to know yourself as a friend, but I think it's a really cool concept, and I think it's really true, because if you don't have like this grounding in who you are and this like core identity that's not going to be changed and shaped and different based on the people you're around, and you're kind of just going to be like wind, like swaying around, like things are just going to like get to you and like hurt you more than they need to, and people are going to like change your values depending on who you're with. And so it's really important to spend intentional time with yourself, getting to know like your passions and your past and your emotions and you spiritually and you intellectually and just like everything. And I also just want to say, I'm not at all saying you need to be reliant on yourself. I think it's super important to be reliant on other people, and I think the beautiful part about Christianity is that we're the body of Christ and we're united, and we're supposed to share each other's pain and also share each other's excitement and happiness and successes, and just like do life together and be invested in each other and reliant on each other emotionally and spiritually and intellectually. Like, that is beautiful. And so do not at all take this video as me saying that we don't need community and we don't need really, really close people in our lives, because we definitely do. And I definitely think that knowing yourself first is the way you're going to get that closeness with other people in your life. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much. Thank you for just investing in my life since I was in high school, and come back next Monday for a new video. Bye!